but the drum beat is the heartbeat of the earth. Now, if you grew up watching Westerns, you might be familiar with this. I'm sure you've all heard that beat before, right? Anybody's heartbeat sound like that here today? All right. If it does, get a checkup. I know there's some blankets with indigenous people, and they would use them as trade. So a lot of the dress of indigenous people changed as the Dutch and English came, but they still incorporated their own traditions and their beadwork and things like that. So this dance that Devin's going to do for you is known as what we call the Iroquois War Dance. It tells the story of hunting, of searching for your prey. The club that he carries in his hand is his war club. This is an Iroquois war club. And Yane, Yane, Hane, 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 oh, ya, yo, ya, yo, ya, oh, ya, yo, ya, Hane, Yane, Yane, Hane, 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 oh, ya, yo, ya, ya, ya. Yo, 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 honey, yane, yane, honey, 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 yo, oh, yeah, yo, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yo, yo, honey, yane, yane, honey, 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 yo, oh, yeah, yo, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. Thank you, Devin. It's allowed to be in possession of eagle parts and feathers. And those are the feathers that give the eagle life, the flight, lift, the tail feathers. So as she's dancing, she hopes that those tail feathers will give her lift as she dances and raises her eagle fan during those certain parts of the song. So this is known as Ladies' Jingle Dress. From the northern plains, this particular style of dance, you'll see that ropesha on his head, and that is supposed to copy the way maybe a dog or a bear or a cat, the way their hair stands up. The men would put these on their head when they were ready for battle. This is a more modern one where a lot of times we put colors in them, but in the old days the men just wore small ones, on their heads, and it made them sort of be fierce the way a cat or a dog, or their hair stands up on their neck. He has an eagle bustle on his back, and he carries a war club in his hand, and the eagle fan in his other hand. That's the wing of a golden eagle. So as he's dancing, his movements are sort of like a prairie chicken, telling that story of looking for his prey, following his enemy. You'll notice those yellow angoras around. They generally would be white, but we dye them. And those angoras help the dancer keep time with the drum, and also his sure-footedness. A mountain goat jumps from rock to rock. So as Desi's dancing, he wants to make sure that he doesn't trip or he doesn't fall. He wants the spirit of the mountain goat with him as he's dancing. So he's going to share with you this story this dance called Men's Northern Traditional, telling you the story of hunting. So you'll see him kind of looking around and searching for his prey, sometimes even challenging. So I'll give him a little. Actually, the dance I'm going to give him is known as the Duck and Dive song. And the Duck and Dive song is a song that tells the story of Chief Joseph. Not really a big part of American history teachings in schools, but Chief Joseph was the chief of the Nez Perce people. And during a very sad part of the American history called the American Reservation Systems, where Native Americans were taken from their homes and forced into prison camps known as reservations, many Native people refused to go. And Chief Joseph decided that him and 700 of his people, men, women, children, would flee to Canada to escape the American reservation systems. The United States military pursued them and were firing cannons at them, and it was a moving battle to the Canadian border. He eventually was captured 40 miles from the Canadian border, and all his people were put in prison and never allowed to go back to their homelands. But as they were chasing them, they were firing these cannons, and these cannons would whistle. And when the people would hear them whistle, everyone would lay on the floor. And when the cannons would explode, they would get up and they would keep going. And so when we do this dance, the men do this duck and dive dance, they always duck down their head during that loud part of the drum, and that's the cannon shot. And so as they duck their heads down, they pay respect to Chief Joseph and all those people who perished and survived that journey. And so this is called the Duck and Dive song. And this dance tells the story of a butterfly coming out of its chrysalis, you know, as a butterfly comes out of its chrysalis and it floats around, and the way maybe in a beautiful spring day, you know, way you might renew yourself, the way nature renews itself. And so she is going to share with you this beautiful style of dance called Ladies Fancy Shawl. All right.